The difference between you and the person that you admire so much is that they're executing and you're not. What's up, y'all? Welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Oluffunke. You can call me Oluffunke or you can call me Funke. However you please, I am receptive of both. So as you can tell from the title and the thumbnail of this video, I will be sharing with you guys 10 lessons that I have learned in my 20s. If you do not know, this is the last year in my 20s, technically-ish. This is the last year in my 20s, and yeah, it's my birthday. I don't know when this video is gonna go up. But my birthday is April 28th. So if you guys catch this video on April 28th, that will be wonderful. But if you don't, still wish me and celebrate me in the comment section below. I thought it would be good for me to just come on here and, you know, share some of the experiences and the lessons that I've learned in my 20s now that, you know, I am moving on into my 30s, and perhaps I could also share the things I would not and definitely not be doing as I move on to my 30s. So first off, let's just say happy birthday to me. Yes, a round of applause for the girl. Happy birthday to me. I am so excited for this year. It is the last year in my 20s, and I'm so happy. I couldn't have had it any better. It's perfect. And yeah, I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful to be alive. I'm so grateful for the years that I've been fortunate to live on this earth and the ones to come. I'm grateful for God in my life, His mercies and His goodness. I'm grateful for so many things. I mean, a million tongues would never be enough for all of the things that God has done for me in my life. And I'm super thankful. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, with that being said, let's get into the video. If you are not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Click the like button. Comment in the comment section below. Turn on your post notification bell so you do not miss any of my uploads. All right, let's get into the video for real now. So again, this is the last year in my 20s, and you know, this milestone has really inspired me to just say, you know what, let me make this a video where I get to, you know, just reflect on my 20s and the years lived so far and just see how far I have come. The good, the bad, the ugly, right? So I am going to be sharing 10 lessons that I have learned in my 20s. I have a few notes here, so I do not sway all over the place. However, I still want this to like flow from the heart. I don't want to restrict myself to my notes. So let's just go with the flow. Nothing structured, nothing crazy. We're just gonna go with the flow, okay? So year 20. Let's start with year 20 for the first lesson that I learned. Year 20 was like embracing change. It's like, okay, I'm 20 now, you know, like I'm no longer a teenager. I have to start making grown decisions, kind of, even if I didn't make them. But it was more of like just embracing that change of adulthood. And it was rough. I was still like, I feel like I was grieving my teens. You know, I was grieving my teens. I was grieving my teenage self. But at the same time, I was also struggling to accept this new reality that I am an adult. I feel like one of the things that also made it hard for me to, you know, accept that that I'm an adult at that point in 20 was that I was infantilized by one of my parents. You know, they still treated me like a child. They never really treated me like an adult. And so it kind of made, you know, that growing into my adulthood as a 20-year-old, it kind of also made it hard because this person wasn't treating me like an adult. They were still treating me like a child, like I couldn't make decisions by myself. You get what I'm saying? But overall, I would say embrace change. Don't be scared of change. We're human beings. Things will always change. You evolve as a person. And so change is constant. You would always, always have one or two changes going on with you as a person. So yeah, I would tell myself in year 20 to embrace change and hold your head up high and stick with it. Yeah. Lesson number 2 will be to make wise decisions. Like I said earlier in lesson number 1, I made a lot of silly decisions. I feel like year 20, year 21, and year 22. Yeah, year 20 to 23-ish. Yeah, I was making a lot of silly decisions. It's like I'm finding myself. And so, like, I'm failing at this. I'm picking myself back up. I'm trying this. I'm picking myself back up. And it's like, just trying to figure it all out. So, lesson number 2 would be to make wise decisions. As a person in your early 20s, you wouldn't necessarily make the best of the best decisions. I mean, only a select few of us made wise decisions, to be honest. But just consider consider the future in the things that you do. Consider the future in the decisions that you make. Your decisions do not define you as a person. However, your decisions can make or break you. So make wise ones. Lesson 3 would be to value relationships. And I'm going to break this down to platonic friendships and, relationships, intimate relationships. Speaking on platonic relationships, friendships are very important. Jesus had friends when he was on earth. These are I call friends destiny helpers. These were the people that he surrounded himself with that helped him to execute his mission while he was on earth. Now, he would have done it with them regardless, but here's the catch. He did it with them. This should tell you something, that we need friends. We need friends. And so where it gets tricky is that friends can kill you, right? Friends can make or break you. Okay, so choose your friends wisely. Be very discerning. However, do not shut yourself off from making good friends. I tell the friends that I have right now, I tell them all the time, I don't have a lot of friends. I can count my friends on one hand like this. And that is all intentional because I have experienced some hurtful friendships in the past. I wouldn't say who was at fault. I don't think anybody was at fault. It could have been me that was at fault. It could have been them. However, I've come to learn that quality friends will always be better over quantity of friends. Okay, you could have 10 trash friends and you could have one good friend who is your person, who prays for you, who seeks your best interest at heart, who pushes you to be your best self. You get what I'm saying? So do not, do not think, oh, the amount of friends that you have is what makes them good people. No, it goes beyond that. And friendships when I was in my 20s, early 20s, is different from like what I thought friendship was in my early 20s is different from what I think friendship is right now in my late 20s. So the paradigm is shifting and it's so interesting to just see. It means I'm growing, and that is so beautiful in itself. So value relationships. Also, when it comes to intimate relationships, yes, you can date. You're grown enough to date. However, you have to make wise decisions. You cannot let no man disrespect you. Don't let any man disrespect you. Don't let any man, think they can walk all over you. Do not accept things from a man that you will not accept for yourself. However you treat yourself is what you should demand from a man. Okay? If you put yourself in a high regard, if you treat yourself with care, with tenderness, with respect, you need to demand the same thing from that man. And if that man is not giving that to you, you need to take a step back and focus on other things. Do y'all understand? This is so I'm like on business now. Like this is the on business Oluffunke talking to you guys right now. But overall, yeah, value relationships, especially the platonic ones. Value them, value them, value them. Lesson number 4 is just taking me back to self-discovery. I feel like it is important that you discover yourself early. The earlier, the better. Now, self-discovery is a continual thing. 30s, 50s, 40s, whatever it is. You are always discovering yourself as a human being. However, I feel like the pivotal moment, the crucial moment for you to do that is your 20s, your teenage years versus your 20s. Discover yourself, try a lot of things. Do not be scared to execute your ideas. Do not be scared to execute your ideas. You are a well of ideas. God has deposited a bunch of things inside of you. Don't hoard them. Don't keep them in your heart. Execute. Now, I'm not saying every idea is good to execute, right? But if it lingers on your heart a lot, pray about it. Research about it. See if it is something that, worth trying, and try it. And, if anything happens that you feel like, oh, you're no longer interested in this idea that you executed, it's fine. I'm going to share a story with you guys. I started a hair business because I love wigs. I love to do my hair. I do my hair myself. I've been doing my hair since I was a little girl. And so hair is something that it's so therapeutic to me. It's like I enjoy it. I enjoy doing my friends' hair, and I would not collect a dime unless they wish to give me a dime. I do not take money when I do my friends' hair. That's how much I love to do hair. And so I was like, okay, if I really love to do this thing, it would be nice to, it would be nice to execute it as a business, right? I thought about it. I did my research. I sourced for vendors. I got a sewing machine to even make the process faster, the process of making wigs faster instead of doing it by hand. I was getting a lot of clients. Don't get it twisted. I was booked out. I had this particular client. She would order like 5 wigs. Shout out to your girl. If you know yourself. I don't know if she's watching this, but you know yourself if you get to watch this. That's how good the business was going. But it got to a point it was no longer fun for me. It was no longer satisfying for me. Making a wig became like a task. It became tasking. And I hated the way I felt. I hated it. And so I had to take a step back. And guess what? I never looked back. My partner tells me till today, oh my God, when are you going to start making wigs again? I'm like, I will be in the hair business, but I doubt I will ever make wigs again. I will still make it. I will make it for myself. I will make it if anybody wishes to have a touch of me on their head. I will do it. But like doing it as a business for real, I don't think that's going to happen. Because it's just, I feel like it became so tiring and tasking. I tried it. It didn't work out for me. I realized that turning my passion into business did not work out for me. That particular passion. It is not every passion. It is not every thing that you're passionate about that you need to execute as a business. Some things that you're passionate about are for you. Some things that you're passionate about are just for you. They are a form of self-care for you. When I do my own hair now, it's so therapeutic. Like I sip my iPad down, I get a nice drink, I'm doing my hair, I'm watching a podcast. It's just so therapeutic to me. But doing it as a business was tasking. Lesson learned. It is not every passion that should become a business. But hey, at least you tried. At least you executed that idea. So, what I'm trying to say is do not be afraid to execute your ideas. If anything, okay, you figure out something, you learn something. You learn that, okay, this particular thing that I executed, I think it's more for me and not more of like a business move. I think it's more of like a, self-care routine and not more of like a business move. You get what I'm saying? But still execute. At least you know you have executed. You're just gonna die inside knowing that you have this well of ideas flowing through your body, flowing through your mind, and you never executed it. You do not want to live in regret. Trust me, that's the last thing that you want to do as a human being. Talk less of someone in their 20s. You always want to look back and say, oh, I did that. At least I did that. At least I did that. You get what I'm saying? So do not be afraid to execute your ideas. Go ahead and execute, honey. All right, up next that I want to talk about is financial responsibility. The fact that you have that money does not mean that you should spend it. Okay? I feel like year 25-ish was when I started taking my finances really, really, really seriously. That may be that may be late for some people. Some people may say, oh, that's late. I started way earlier. Good for you. I'm happy for you. That is not my experience, okay? Year 25 was when I really started taking my finances seriously. I mean, I'm not saying I was a bomb completely prior to that, but like I'm talking now, we're thinking planning, we're thinking budgeting, we're thinking saving, we're thinking investing. Like year 25 was really, really when I started taking my finances really seriously. So prior to that, right, when I have money, because I worked, like I was in school, but I was still working. One thing that you could never catch me doing is be a broke student. I hated that. Like I would always work. I would always find some way to make money legally. While you're making that money, you're like, okay, I'm in my 20s. I want to travel. I want to wear makeup. I want to wear clothes. I want to buy shoes. I want to do hair, the $500 wigs and stuff. I didn't even get to wigs until like what? Maybe like year 25 or 24. That was when I started getting into wigs. But I digress. The fact that you're making this money doesn't mean that you should spend them and you say, oh, okay, here's this girls trip opportunity that just came up. Although this is the last thing that I have in my account, I'm gonna put it on that because guess what? I'm gonna make it back. No. 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 Because guess what? You are putting yourself in a loop. You're putting yourself in a loop. So you get money, right? An opportunity comes for spending, you spend it and you tell yourself that's what you patronize yourself with. You tell yourself, oh, I'm gonna make it back. Guess what? You make it back. Another spending opportunity comes, you spend it again. You tell yourself, I'm gonna make it back. Like that. A loop, a continuous loop. And I don't think that's a good habit to have. Especially when your 20s are like, yes, your fun years, yes, your exploring years. However, they're also your building years. They are your foundation years. Okay? No pressure, but they really are. And so I will tell myself to take my money seriously at that time, right? Take my money seriously. Even if I was, let's say I make $500 a week, right? Put like $100, or $200 in your savings. Put something for rainy days. Make sure you always have something at the back hand to keep for rainy days. So, yeah, budgeting, finances are really important. The earlier you know about finances, the better, because by the time you get into your 30s, your 40s, you don't want to be that adult woman or man who is just beginning to figure out finances for themselves. Number one, it's embarrassing, and number two, it's not adult like. It's really not. It's really not. You have to know how to steward your money. Now, you may not know all everything about money, right? I still don't know everything about money. I'm new to the world of investing. I'm new to the world of, trying to use your money to make money back. You don't have to know all that nitty gritty part of it, right? But at least save, at least budget. Your friends are going for a party. Your friends are going to this. If you don't have the capacity to do so, you don't have to go. No, I'm on a budget, honey. I'm on a budget. Yes, you can say that. I feel like we need to normalize people using that in their everyday sentences. That I'm on a budget. So, budget, save, plan, invest if you can. But overall, take finances seriously, because really, the earlier the better. I feel like this one is fun, okay? And that I'm surprised at my take on this, right? So, when I was like in my early 20s, mid 20s, I was having a lot of fun. I have to say that. I was having a lot of fun. And when I say a lot of fun, I was dating, I was traveling, I was, exploring, I partied and all that. Now, I wish that I took my relationship with God seriously earlier, because I feel like if I did do that, then I wouldn't have indulged in all of that drinking, partying, and all that. But hey, still, I experienced it. And I'm not going to lie, it was fun while it lasted. It was. Because the average 20 something year old really wants to party, to be honest. They want to party, they want to see what it's all about. I'm not going to tell you not to party. I'm just going to tell you to party with wisdom. Okay? That might sound a little like, what do you mean party with wisdom? When you're going to the party, when you're going to the club, make sure, please, I beg you, I'm not enabling you to go to the club, but I'm just telling you, if you want to do it, this is how you should do it. You need to use your sense. In everything, you need to apply wisdom, okay? When you're going to the party, make sure you never go to the club by yourself, okay? You never go to the club by yourself. Make sure you go with someone that you trust, okay? Make sure you go with like your friend, a close friend that you trust, a best friend. If you have a best friend, I don't do best friends, but if you have a best friend, just somebody that you trust, a fellow lady, to be preferably, okay? Preferably a fellow lady like you, okay? Make sure you go with somebody. Make sure that whatever drinks that you're getting, okay, it's coming from, like, you're purchasing that drink by yourself. Watch your drinks. Do not put your drinks on the table and then look further and then pick it back up. Make sure your drinks is always in your hand. Okay? Do not go to the bathroom alone. I think that's pretty general for, that's like everyday girl code. I think that's like everyday girl code. Do not go to the bathroom alone. Don't ever go to the bathroom alone. Numbers to the girlies in the bathroom. They could compliment you. They could compliment. They could say, "Oh, girl, you look good." Y'all know, like that girl you find, those girls you find in the bathroom that you just randomly start complimenting you because they're drunk. Yeah, you could receive the compliments, but don't give nobody your phone number, honey. Do not give nobody your phone number. Okay? Don't ever. I'm telling you this for free. This last point. Don't ever be dead drunk in the club. Don't even be drunk at all. Talk less of being dead drunk that you have to be moved out of the club. It don't. Don't. Please don't. Please don't. Do not ever put yourself in that position. I have put myself in that position before, and it was a bad look. It was a really, really ugly look. Don't you ever be dead drunk. Talk less of being drunk in the club. Party safe, okay? If you must do it. Again, I am not enabling you to party in your 20s. But if you must do it, you need to apply wisdom. And those are my tips for you guys, okay? I don't know what number we're at right now. Probably number 7, number 6. I'm not sure. But the next one I want to talk about is mindfulness and mental health. Um, I feel like a lot of people in their 20s are struggling with some form of mental health issue. And I'm talking trauma from childhood. As an African child who was raised in an African home that was very abusive, I can relate. I had a very, very traumatic childhood. It was a lot of violence and abuse, and a lot of it was playing out in my 20s in so many character traits that I couldn't even understand it at a point. And then, fairly recently, and I'm talking like 3 to 4 years ago, was when I started linking it to my trauma, and it's like, oh, okay, so triggers me because blah 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 happened in my childhood, and that is that I've been wired, or that's how I've most likely accepted it and began to exhibit that character trait, as a person in friendships, in relationships, in all of that. And I would just say, take your mental health very seriously in your 20s, because I feel like 20s, when you, from that early 20s, when you graduate into like mid late 20s, you're beginning to somewhat take life seriously, like relationships, friendships, you're thinking of the future, career, stability, all this stuff. Like, the paradigm is shifting and things are getting a little more serious. It's like, okay, let's know what we're doing over here, right? And so you don't want to bring all of that trauma, all of that mental health baggage. You don't want it to bleed into your future. That is the last thing you want. And so the earlier you attack them, the earlier you deal with them, the better. I would say try therapy. Even if you feel like you had such a blissful and blossom childhood and you didn't suffer any trauma at all, trust me, you could still, there is still one or two things that must have, that you must have held on to, that must have sucked into you as a child, that you now exhibit as an adult. Believe it, everyone has one thing or the other. It don't have to come from your household. It could be from school. Maybe you were bullied. Maybe you had this friend who introduced you into something foul. It's a lot of things. I would recommend therapy on every and anybody, but most especially Africans, because yeah, yeah. I started therapy 3 years ago. It was a lot of things that God was already helping my heart with prior to trying therapy. However, when I began to try therapy, when I began to go to therapy, then, a lot of things were adding up and making sense. And I had to walk through them, still walking through them. But I feel like I'm in a good place, sort of. I'm in a place where boundaries is not foreign to me at all. I create boundary, like I set it so high when I have to. I'm very firm on my decisions with family, with friends, however it is. Like, you would know where my heart is. And so all of these things that I've just been incorporating since I began trying therapy, and it's been really helpful. So I would recommend that you try therapy in your 20s. Please do it. Take your mental health very seriously. Do not allow your trauma to make you begin to make stupid decisions, because guess what, a lot of stupid decisions that I made in my early 20s and even mid 20s were trauma triggered. They were really trauma triggered. And so yeah, if I had taken my mental health seriously, then I don't think I would have, made those decisions. But still, there are still lessons learned for the better. And so, yeah, just to reiterate, take your mental health very seriously and try every resources that could help you as early as possible. Up next, I want to talk about continuous learning. Life is a long, long, long journey. We're not here for a long time. We're only here for a good time. Nobody knows when their time is up. Only God does. And so you always have to make sure that you are learning something, acquire new skills, try something, try a new craft, do something with your hands, do something with your minds. I will give you an example. When I was in, I think this was like age 26, I decided to branch into the technology industry. And that is the industry I currently work in. And it's been so blissful. I never knew I could be this person with technical skills. Like when I was younger and in high school, the people that would do like computer science, I'm like, I hated it. I hated it with everything in me. But those are the books, right? Those aren't the practical stuff. So I decided to pivot in my career at age 26. And I pivoted into the technology industry. It was foreign to me. It was new to me. However, I was determined to apply myself. I was determined to learn this thing. I did my research. I saw what field I was interested in. I'm in my master's program right now. I graduate in 3 weeks. And while I was doing that, I was also working in this industry, and it has just been so blissful. It has been so much fun. It has been so much of an eye opener. My mind cannot even comprehend the amount of information that I've been able to digest and take in. So don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to acquire new skills. Life is huge. Life is broad. And so, at every opportunity that you get to acquire a new skill, even if it doesn't make sense at that present moment, trust me, the future will tell. The future will tell of your skills. There are skills that I've learned in high school that I'm currently using right now in my industry. How? Like, how do you even explain that? Right? So, don't ever think that any skill that you acquire anywhere that you find yourself is, unnecessary, or is like lost, or, oh, I'm not going to use this. What am I going to use this for? You do not know what the future holds. You don't know which industry you're going to find yourself. You don't know which career path you're going to find yourself. That the skill is going to be useful for. And so I'm just imploring you to never be afraid to acquire new skills, try new things. I'm telling you, like I keep saying it, 20s are for fun, 20s are for exploration. So acquire skills, because trust me, the future will tell. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about, I don't even know how many points I've discussed now, but the last thing I want to talk about is goals setting. Set goals in your 20s, okay? The fact that you're young doesn't mean you should be stupid. You need to set goals. You need to have goals. What are the things that are in your heart? What are the things that you want to achieve? I'm not saying you should put a timeline on it, okay? Because man proposes, but ultimately God disposes. However, it is important that you set goals. It is important that you have things that you wish to achieve and write them down. Don't just have them in the tablets of your heart. Also write them down, okay? And execute. Again, set your goals. Okay, these are the things. Oh, I want to learn how to I want to learn public speaking, for example. I want to learn to be more confident when I talk, when I articulate myself. Okay, that is the goal. However, how are you going to achieve that goal? What are the resources that are going to help you? Go on Google. It is free. Research about it. How to be more articulate when you speak. There's so many resources. There are so many resources online, so many applications that you can download to help you facilitate your learning towards achieving your goal. So that is just an example that I'm giving you right there. Write the goals down, okay? Do your research, find out the things that you need, find out the prerequisites, find out the resources that can help you accompany your learning towards achieving that goal. That is it. That is it. Okay, but when the goals are just sitting in your heart and you're like, oh, I have this goal, oh, I have that goal, and it's just in your heart, guess what? You're never going to achieve that goal because it's in the mind, but you're not executing. The difference between you and the person that you admire so much is that they're executing and you're not. Real talk. So set your goals, okay? However, find out how to achieve them. It is not enough that you have a goal in your heart. It is enough when you start researching and finding resources to help you and you achieve it. That's when you're like, okay, I did that. I've done that. Also, pray. Okay, while you're setting all those goals, while you're saying this is what I want and this is how I'm working towards it, and these are the things that I'm doing to get towards achieving that goal, also make sure you pray, talk to God about it, because guess what? It's not every goal that God wants you to achieve. It's not. Some goals are just your own selfish desires, and that's okay. We're all human. However, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything shall be added unto you. So seek God's face. Yes, you do desire this thing in your heart, but do not neglect to seek God. Do not forget to seek God. It is so important because you can go ahead and achieve that goal, and God's blessing is not over it. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, set your goals, okay? Find out resources that will accompany that and achieve that goal. But along the line, seek God's face. Seek God's face along the line. Because trust me, it makes a whole lot of difference. It does. So I just want to reiterate, have fun. 20s are fun. 20s are for you. 20s are for self-discovery. 20s are for exploration. 20s are so fun, but then again, they're also crucial. So it's like you can't really, you can't be found wanting. You have to be balanced. You know, in your 20s, you really have to be balanced because you got to have fun, you got to explore, you got to self discover, but then again, you also have to build. You also have to build. So it's like you have to find that balance. And yeah, I just want to reiterate that. Have fun, but be wise. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is faith, knowing God. Remember when I was sharing in the whole like, you know, clubbing situation and how I said I wish I knew God earlier and maybe I wouldn't have partied and indulged in all of that like clubbing and partying stuff. But it is true. I wish I knew God earlier, or I did know God. Okay, let's not say like I wish I knew God. I did know God. However, I did not have a relationship with Him. I would say that, you know, if you can, and I pray that God gives you the heart for Him as early as possible if you are in your early 20s or even younger, because it's different. Okay, rolling with God is different, y'all. Rolling with Jesus hits different. Like they just, yeah, you are set apart. You are set apart. The life you live is no longer yours, but the life you live is ultimately for God. And it's so beautiful. I started, you know, I renewed my relationship with God. I said renewed like it's a subscription. I recently, well, that's the word really. I recently renewed my relationship with God like 2 years ago or a year ago. And I'm so happy that I am living my 20s with a relationship with God. I could cry. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. There's no better way I could have left my 20s. There's no better way. I'm so happy and grateful for the opportunity. It's really a privilege and honor to fellowship with God. My faith in God has been tested, it has been tried, it has been magnified ultimately like never before. And I'm so grateful. Um, love God. Love God. There's a scripture in Ecclesiastes, I believe, that speaks about, not forgetting God in your youth. Remember the Lord your God in your youth. Love the Lord your God in your youth. I'm paraphrasing right now, but if I find the scripture, I would put it somewhere here on the screen for you guys to see and in the description box. But love the Lord in your youth. That is, I wish that I had, such a personal relationship with God when I was in my, early 20s and all that. But ultimately, I'm just glad that I am living the same 20s with a relationship with God. It is, I don't know how, I was able to get through my 20s without God, but even if I didn't have a relationship with Him as I do now, I still believe that He watched over me. I still believe that He, He protected me. I still believe that He had His arms around me and He still held me, upheld me with His right hand, which I'm ultimately grateful for. But yeah, love the Lord your God in your youth. If you are a Christian and you're young right now and you know God and you love God, but you just don't have that relationship with Him, I want to pray for you right now. And I want to pray that God opens your heart to receive Him. He's always at your door. He would not force His way into your heart. He will knock, but you have to open the door. I pray that God gives you the heart to open up to Him. I pray that whatever, anxiety, whatever nervousness, whatever form of depression, whatever it is that is weighing you down, that is stripping you away from the presence of God, that God will bring you back to the point of your knees to continue to ultimately surrender all to Him so He can come into your heart and fellowship with you. And I know that God is going to do amazing things through, this little prayer of mine. I pray and I hope in Jesus' name. But yeah, this is such a good way to just end the video right here. I hope you guys learned a thing or two. I know this wasn't like super structured. I wanted to flow. I wanted to flow from the heart. I really didn't want to be restricted by, points and notes and all of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are, in your late 20s, or even if you're out of the 20s and you're in your 30s or 40s or even beyond, and you feel like you want to share anything, any lessons learned in your 20s, or even things that, you wish you knew when you were in your 20s, please share it in the comment section below. I would love to read them. I would love to hear them. And, if they're worth applying to my life, I would love to, incorporate them into my daily life as well as I journey. But yeah, if you aren't subscribed, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Comment in the comment section below. If I miss anything, it will be in the description box below. Also, do not forget to turn on your post notification bell so you do not miss any of my future uploads. Until next time, bye.